What's up, guys? Welcome to the In the Blind podcast. Today we have country music artist, rising upcomer Miss Lauren Watkins.
What's up?
Not
How are you?
much. How are you?
I'm good. Thank y'all for having me.
Yeah, we're stoked
Thank you
to
for
have you.
coming
You
on.
are actually our first female on the
Really?
In the Blind podcast.
Woohoo!
Yeah,
I
so
love that.
we
That's
were
awesome.
we were really excited to get a female in here and talk about it's obviously it's different from a woman in the country music world.
A little bit, yeah. It's fun though.
So we want to kind of just start with you being a Nashville native,
Yeah.
which is really cool because you
Yeah.
don't hear that a lot.
No, you don't.
Got a lot of Georgia
Yeah.
folks,
Yes.
and I mean some people from Tennessee, but not really directly from Nashville.
Yeah, I'm not like other girls. I'm so different. Yeah, no, it's funny. Like I thought, you think that's so normal when you're growing up because that was just my life. But now, as an adult, like I don't ever meet anybody that's from here anymore. Like, I mean, my sisters and like my family, but like all of my friends that are from here like are just from high school. Like most people that I meet now are not from here.
Yeah.
But it's cool. I mean, I loved growing up here. It was definitely like probably not as crazy as people think
Yeah.
that it was. Like it's not like I
Oh,
was
it's pretty normal. I'm from here as well.
You
I
are?
grew up,
Oh, I didn't know
grew up
that.
well, so my family's from like the Sylvan Park area of
Yeah,
West Nashville.
yeah, yeah.
And my dad's whole side, and they were all cops and firefighters and
Oh, that's
whatnot.
awesome.
And then my dad and my mom split. My mom moved back to Hurricane Mills, Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and I ended up down there with my great aunt and great uncle. Like, so my family's farm bordered Loretta Lynn's farm. So I spent
I know
summers
right
and
where that is,
summers
yeah. Mm-hmm.
and weekends up here, and went to school down there and
Yeah.
stuff. So I kind of got like the best of both worlds.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
growing up here, it's
It's normal.
it is
Somewhat, yeah.
it is.
There were definitely things like we probably took for granted, like just getting to go to concerts all the time. And like, also one thing I've noticed now, this is so funny, but like a concert in Nashville, they always have awesome, like special guests. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like if Morgan Wallen's playing in Nashville, he's bringing out Eric Church and
Somebody, yeah.
George Strait or whoever. And so like, then when I went to college and I went to concerts like in Mississippi, I was always like, wait, where's the guest? Like, where is Miranda Lambert? Like,
Yeah, you get spoiled
because that
in
was just
Nashville.
about being in Nashville. They're just
Yeah, 'cause
they
they're
they
all
live
here,
there,
yeah.
yeah. So it was easy to do that.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to St. Cecilia,
Okay.
which is a tiny all girls Catholic
Dude,
school.
this is crazy.
Yeah.
So my great aunt that raised me went to St. Cecilia. My grandmother
No
went
way.
to St. Cecilia.
No way.
Yeah, my great grandmother worked at St. Thomas right next door for 37 years.
Okay,
so
well, we know a ton of the same people, I'm sure, because
there's no
my
way
mom
we
went
don't.
there
Yeah,
too.
that's
Oh my God,
crazy.
we'll have to talk about
Yeah,
this.
that's
That's
wild.
crazy.
What a small world.
Yeah, it was
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and it's a tiny. It was literally
just
a tiny
curious.
all
Oh,
girls
it's
school. Like
tiny.
we have the picture of her class, and it's like 15 of them or
Yeah.
16
Wow.
of them. I mean,
And
this
it's
was in
bigger
like
now.
1939. you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yep.
But, I
That's
mean,
so crazy.
Yeah, it was like
It's bigger
super
now.
small.
I think my class was probably like 70 girls or
Yeah.
something.
Wow.
But yeah, so then I went to college at Ole Miss, and so you can imagine that was
That was a big
total
change.
culture shock
Yeah,
for
for
me.
sure.
I loved it
Because
though.
I mean, that's a good time. I
Oh, yeah.
toured. I did a lot of DJ. I DJed for 12 years, and
Really?
I toured all over the southeast.
You've
and did
lived like
all
a
the-
million lives.
all the, I have. It's funny, people. Well, I hope people think I'm younger than I am, but I'm 45, so like I have had a lot. It's like my wife is 29, and
Mm-hmm.
she's like, you have so many. She's like, you've lived like multiple lives.
That's so cool.
And it is really cool, and I have a ton of really cool life experience, and
Mm-hmm.
it helped me get to a point where we got married last April, and
Congrats.
thank you so much. Like I was very deliberate with that, like I had to go ring all those bells,
Oh yeah.
and then I did it, and then it's been like the greatest thing ever. Everyone's like, "How's marriage?" I'm like, "It's freaking awesome." I was like, I don't know, like what I was waiting on.
I know,
like,
yeah.
I wish I'd have figured it out a little sooner, maybe,
Yeah.
but I think I had to go through all that and do all
No,
that
yeah,
stuff.
that
and,
was the plan. for
it's
you.
like
That it
I had a
worked out.
friend, or no, my mom. I was touring as a DJ, and I was like 37 years old, and
Wow.
I'm like in a different college town every weekend, and
That's fun.
hanging out with sororities and sorority girls and freaking fraternity guys. And,
Yeah.
and I'm like, my mom's like, like you have to be marryable. Like, you're
Whoa,
not
Mom.
very marryable. And I was like, I couldn't argue with her. I was
Yeah,
like,
hey.
what good woman wants to go and marry a dude that's going to be every weekend at a fraternity party at Ole Miss.
You never know.
I mean, it's hard to find. I can promise you that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd become marriable. So that's
Well,
what I
that's
did.
great.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I got married last May, actually. So we were like right at the
Awesome.
same.
Heck
Yeah.
yeah. Congratulations to you
Thank
as well.
you.
You eloped, right?
Kind of, yeah.
Kinda?
We kind of did like a glorified elopement. Like
Okay.
basically we got engaged. So my husband is Will Bundy, who's a songwriter. And we got engaged last February. And the plan was to do like a big, not huge, but like a regular traditional wedding last October. We were planning it, and my sister was also engaged and planning a wedding at the same time. And I was just like, I cannot do this. Like I got so overwhelmed by the planning aspect of it. And I also like hate doing stuff like that. Like I am not a event planner. Like you can ask any of these people. They will be like, yeah, she's not cut out for that. And we had kind of like joked around about eloping like the whole time we were engaged. Just like, oh, what if we did it? And one day we were just sort of like, okay, either we're going to keep talking about it or we're just going to do it. And that day we called my parents and we were like, hey, we're going to the courthouse tomorrow. Like this is happening. I've already got my dress. Like we're going. And my mom was like, okay, please just like give us a month so that your sisters can be there. And like, just like immediate family.
Right.
And I'm looking back, I'm so glad she said that because I would have really regretted it. So long story short, we gave everybody like a month. We went out to our land. We bought a piece of land and we were like, okay, it's happening on this day. We had one of our really good friends marry us and it was just perfect. So it wasn't
That's
like
awesome.
a true elopement. Like we had a somewhat of a plan,
Right.
but it was just perfectly simple and low key. There was very little planning that had to be done, which that is my speed. And
awesome.
we went to Puckett's and had dinner afterwards.
awesome.
It was literally perfect.
My experience was the big wedding. And
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
it
To
was
be clear,
the
I love
most stressful thing I've
It-
ever
it is.
experienced in my life.
It is.
I went to the doctor a couple weeks before, and my blood pressure was like I've never had high blood pressure. I've always been like a physically fit person, and I was an athlete in college, and my blood pressure was like crazy. The lady was like, "Do you understand? Like, if you were like in your 50s, I'd be sending you to the emergency room right now." And I was like, "That's not good." I went back after 2 weeks after we got back from the honeymoon, and my blood pressure was like 98/76. And
Oh my
she's like,
gosh.
"This is crazy." And I was like, "It was that stressful."
I get it. Yeah.
You
Really
know.
like you think it's not going to be like everyone kind of before was like, "Oh, get ready." And that just pissed me off. I'm like, "Okay, hush. Like this is going to be a breeze." And literally I think I got like we had basically like a venue and that was it. And I was like, if I'm this overwhelmed by just that, then we can't do this. And like my sister, like I said, like my sister was planning at the same time and she was like a little bit further along in the planning process. So I was kind of watching her and like the steps she
Like,
was
I'm not
having to
doing
take.
this.
Yeah. If I hadn't seen that, maybe it would have gone differently. But like, because I saw like a glimpse into my future, I was like, I don't know if I can do that. And she's cut out for it. Like she was made to be a hostess. Like she's just good at that.
So my thing was we catered it through here.
Oh, cool.
So for those of you who know, we're at Riley Green's Duck Line right now, Losers Bar in Nashville.
Yeah.
And my wedding planner come up to me like halfway through the day, and she's like, "Could you please stop working? Like I've never seen a groom work this much in my life."
Why are you doing that?
Well, because like I'm the person that they ask the questions to all the time,
yeah.
right? So like they're gonna come and ask me regardless. So I was basically like running the whole catering floor,
Yeah.
like before my wedding.
gosh.
Like, I was carrying tables and putting champagne glasses together.
Wow.
And she's like, "We have people that can do this," and I was like, "I understand."
You're
I was
just
like,
you're
"It's
used
just
to
who
it.
I am.
It's-
Like, just
yeah.
let me go. It'll give me
Force
some
a
mental
habit.
peace." And
Yeah.
it was an awesome day, and we were at South Hall Meadows out in Leapers Fork.
Oh,
and
that's awesome.
It was beautiful
Love
out there.
Leapers Fork.
Yeah, super nice and
Yeah.
very, very good day. No
Yeah.
doubt about that.
I love attending a wedding. I
Yeah, it's a
love
good
a good
time.
wedding. Like
Yeah.
I really do. I love to show up and have a good time. I just couldn't plan it.
Yeah, it's happy vibes at a wedding always. I
always
always like
so
DJing
fun.
weddings. They're high pressure because it's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to bring two of everything because if something breaks, like
Oh my
it's the
gosh.
wedding, dude. Like you don't get to do it again.
And it's like high stress.
yeah,
Everybody's
Have you ever had to perform at a wedding?
I have. I played for my best friend's first dance song.
Oh,
and
that's a lot of
that
pressure.
was a lot of
Yeah.
pressure because I'm like, one, this is literally my childhood best friend. She is my favorite person in the world. And so I'm like, okay, well, I also want to like be enjoying this moment.
Yeah.
But then I'm supposed to sing, and if I mess up, which not that it sort of sounds like you're kind of that's a narcissistic thing to think, but to be like, if I mess up, everyone's gonna remember that like the girl who sang,
You're the one who messed up
the song, and like they're gonna laugh about, which like no one's thinking about me, they're thinking about
Nobody cares.
Margaret and Davis, but like it was really stressful. I think that was the only. I've done a couple other like I've played for people's like their welcome party or like cocktail hour or whatever, just like acoustic, but being a wedding singer is a whole different gig.
It is.
Like you've got to train for
It's
that.
very
And I am not,
serious.
it is like a long time to be singing for, and you got to know covers like
Oh yeah.
like the back
And
of
it's
your
like
hand.
you need to know like Motown and like
They don't want to hear me.
it's
like
broad, you know,
it
like
is.
you like when we looked at our wedding playlist, I was like, they're all like bangers. But like my wife's a big Ben Rector fan, so like
I love Ben Rector.
We had a ton of Ben Rector, but yeah,
That's good wedding music.
it's
like
like
fun,
you
happy,
know he's just got
uplifting.
feel good music. Like all his music's got a really positive message. You know, I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of positive messages.
Yeah,
in music.
me too. Me too.
You know, like my wife is an artist and a songwriter as well, and she'll like, ask me for song ideas, and I'm like, just no angry women music. Like, I'm like, man, we've had enough of that. Like,
That's
no,
true.
dig your keys into the side of his car. Like
I've dabbled in that a little bit. For
yeah,
sure, but
well, and it's a natural.
you have to like
emotion,
get it out of your system, and then
Yeah, it's a natural feeling, and it definitely resonates. You know, I mean,
guess
there's no
so.
doubt about
I
that.
guess so. Yeah, something about it.
I've made a few angry myself.
Yeah.
You've contributed to the music making.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, that's good.
How did you and your husband actually meet?
We met technically from songwriting. So this was like several years ago. I had just moved back to town. So like I went to college and then I had just moved back to Nashville, and he is from outside of Bristol, Tennessee.
Okay.
Oh, cool.
So he's been here like 8 or 9 years. And I had just moved back to town, and we had a write set up on the calendar. And I had like known about him because my sister, he was really good friends with my sister, who is also a songwriter, and they would write together. But the first time we actually met was like 2 weeks before that, actually at the Songwriters Hall of Fame induction ceremony.
Oh, nice.
We did not have any reason to be there. We were just there as like somebody's guest, like just being like, oh, come to this fun event.
Meet some people.
We did
yeah.
not like, we weren't really invited. But yeah, that's where I met him. And I'll never forget, like he came up to me and he was wearing this blue suit, and he was like, hey, he's real country. And he was like, hey, I'm Will Bundy. I know your sister, and we're going to be writing here soon. And I was like, oh my gosh, who's this guy? And I said to my sister, I was like, why did you never tell me about him? But anyways, so then after that we wrote, and we really were friends for like a long time because we were both dating other people, and it was just like not the right timing.
Right.
So we got to be really good friends, which really that helps the relationship. Like I just feel like that's always a good way to start. And years later, we both ended up single at the same time, and now we're married.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does he produce a lot of your stuff now? Or?
He does. Yeah. He's just kind of jumped into that. We've been working on a lot of new stuff together for the first time, and it's really exciting because we've always written together. And so it just kind of makes sense like that would be the natural thing to do. And he's so talented. And so I'm excited for people to hear it. Yeah.
Very cool.
When does that new stuff come out?
So my first next song comes out on April 4th. So exactly a week from tomorrow, I think.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
April 4th. It's called Lose My Cool. And we wrote it together too. We wrote it a couple years ago with Nicole Gallion and Rodney Clausen, who are another married couple. So we
Yes.
always say it's like couples therapy when we write together. And yeah, it's just like super fun and feel good, which like we were saying, I have not written a lot of that kind of stuff. Like a lot of my stuff has been very heartbreaky, sad. And that's just because that was like that was what was true to me at the
Right.
time. And now I'm kind of going into this new era and just like writing some love songs. So
That's awesome.
It's funny. It's like that's kind of how I think good songs come from, like whatever stage in life
Yeah, just
you're
real the
in,
natural
like,
progression
it has
of
to
life.
be like you feel that, you know.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
it's hard to write a happy song when you're sad. It's
Yeah,
hard to
no,
write a
it's
sad
true.
song when you're happy.
It's true. And people are always like, or I've had some people be like, okay, are you going to write like all love songs now? And absolutely not. Like,
Yeah.
I am a sucker for sad songs. And like, the truth is, when you fall in love and get married, that doesn't mean that like just everything is perfect now.
Yeah.
Like, there is still heartbreak and hurt in life, and that doesn't always have to be about relationships, which that's been a cool thing to kind of explore, is like writing songs that are about more like lifey type stuff. And so you'll hear some of that on my next stuff coming up. But yeah, it's cool. I just write whatever is going on usually.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So I think it was about a year ago, somebody had sent me your song Shirley Temple, I think.
Oh yeah.
And I think it's one of the most cleverly written
Thank
songs
you.
I've heard
Thank
in a really
you.
long time.
That
But
is very sweet. Thank you.
what was the inspiration behind that?
So I was actually trying to do Sober October when I wrote that, and I lasted about a week. It did not work out. I did not.
Sounds like
I was
me.
not sober October. But I wrote that with Nicole Gallion and Meg McCree, who is another artist, songwriter. She's awesome. And we were just sort of like joking around about like, well, we're not drinking. What could we write about? Like, I only ever write like drinking songs. Like,
Yeah.
what can we do? And Nicole was like, well, funny that you say that, because I actually had this title, Shirley Temple. Like, I have no idea what it means, but what if we just give it a shot? And we were like, oh, hell yeah, we're writing that. And so we did. And funny enough, it kind of still is like somewhat of a drinking song.
Right.
Yeah.
You have to listen to it to know what I mean. But yeah, that was the inspiration. We were like, what can we do that's not about alcohol? And
That's really cool.
Yeah, it was
That's
a
how it
cool
ended
song.
up.
Definitely.
Thanks.
It's so clever and just well written.
Thank
so.
you. That's so nice. I was sort of like, it was one of those songs that all three of us were so proud of, like the way that we wrote it and just how it
Right.
turned out. And I was just kind of like, I hope people get it. Like
Yeah.
sometimes you don't know if it's going to be too thinky or whatever, but people seem to understand it and also relate to it, which that's really what I care about.
I remember I got to the end of it the first time and I immediately started over just to like rehear like the first
Make
verse
sure I
to
heard
like
that
make
right.
sure I got
Yeah.
it right. But it was just an incredible song.
Well,
So,
thanks. Thank you. Appreciate
another
that.
question, I guess being on probably one of the biggest tours of the year last year.
Yeah.
How was that touring with Morgan?
It was
and,
awesome. It was so cool. I'm so thankful, first of all, to Morgan just for having me out. I mean, the whole time I was like, there's no way I'm on this stage.
Can't
right
believe
now.
I'm doing
Yeah,
this,
like
yeah.
how did I get here? And he's just so cool and somebody that I've been a fan of for a long time. So that was equally as cool. Like
Fellow Tennessean too.
a fellow Tennessean, that's right. And it was just fun. Like I have never played stages like that in my life, obviously,
Yes.
or crowds like that. And so it was a big learning experience. Like I feel like I grew a lot. My stage presence got so much better because you're kind of just thrown to the wolves and you got to
You
figure it
have
out.
to be.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
when you're on a student stadiums, I mean, if you're not there's really only one dude that gets away with standing in the middle of the stage and playing his guitar, and that's George
Strait, yep.
I mean, like
I knew you were gonna say
the
that.
rest of them is.
It's true.
I
You
mean,
have to
you
figure it
have to
out.
do it. I mean, you look
Yeah.
at Garth, and like we had Tyler Farr on, and if you look, he's
Yeah.
always jumping off stage
Yeah.
and hanging from the rafters and doing whatever he can to make the show entertaining.
Yeah.
You have to do that stuff.
You do. And
so-
everybody, what's cool is like everybody's got their own way of doing it. Like no show is exactly the same and no artist moves the same or interacts the same with the crowd. And so that was kind of like a wake up call for me to go like, okay, well, I just got to figure out my thing. Like I can't do what anybody else does. I can't mimic what Morgan does or what Lainey does on the stage. Like I got to figure out my thing. And so that was fun because I had all year to just like figure it out. And it was also a fun like shift between, because while on that tour, I was also playing a lot of other shows, like a lot of festivals and then a lot of like smaller like club shows. And it was just fun to go between all those different dynamics. Like when you're in a club, people are right up on the stage,
Yeah,
like right
yeah.
in front of you. You can hear them and feel them and like see what they're like singing the words or whatever. And with a stadium, they're so much farther away from you. So it was sort of like fun to figure out, all right, how can I engage when I'm at a completely different
Right.
like level? And on top of that, every single night getting to stay and watch Morgan's show was sick. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
just it
It's
is
so
the best
good.
concert.
I mean, you know, he's an incredible artist, man. Like,
Yeah.
whenever I saw, and I knew it was going to be like that, and I saw the new
Yeah.
album's 37 tracks, and I'm like, and then you go to iTunes and you look at the top, like the top
Yeah.
100 country songs, and they're all on there.
It
And
makes
you're just
sense.
like, no one, I mean, you know, there's so many talented people in the genre, but like, he's on another stratosphere right
yeah,
now.
he is. Yeah.
Got to give him credit where credit's due.
For sure. And
Yeah.
then you see the show and you're like, I get why.
100%.
Like, he really is that good.
Yeah, it's
Never
it's
misses
awesome.
a note either. Like his voice is insane.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
I
was
mean, then
just
you
listening to one of his records the other day. We were just in Europe, and I was driving around and didn't have cell phone service, so
Yeah.
I had downloaded that because my kids love Morgan also.
Yeah.
And just listened to it from front to back. I was like, damn, there really isn't
So
a bad
good.
song
Yeah,
on
no
here.
skips.
And I mean, his
He
voice
has
is incredible.
the
Yeah.
privilege of writing with some of the best songwriters in
That doesn't
country
hurt.
music
That
history.
does not hurt, does it?
You know, those guys, like, I think when it's all said and done, you'll look at Ern and
Mm-hmm.
Hardy and go, man, there's nobody with more number ones than these
Yeah.
guys. I mean, it's crazy.
They have got it figured out.
Yeah, they
They're
do.
awesome.
They've got the recipe right now for sure, and all the stuff they're doing with Post, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool to see.
They're on a roll.
And you're on a roll. I mean, next
Thanks.
tour is you're going to be out
Trying.
with Laney and Zach Top and Riley as
Yeah,
well. Shout
yeah.
out to the boss man.
Shout out. Yep. Thanks for letting us be
Yeah,
here.
letting us use your bar for our podcast.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you
I'm
go
excited.
from Morgan to like probably the next three biggest acts in country
I know,
music
what the
right
heck?
now.
I'm still going like, how did I get here? When are they going to
It's
figure
pretty
out?
cool, man.
I'm
You
a
got to be like on
loser.
a rocket ship right now, or feel
Well,
like you are a
thanks.
little bit. You know?
I do. I'm just excited. I mean, it's like the Morgan thing. Like, these are all people that I'm a big fan of, like, genuinely love their music and listen to it all the time. And also, like, have gotten to see, like, I've gotten to see Laney's show. I've gotten to see Riley's show. I haven't gotten to see Zach yet. But I just like them. Like, I like what they do. And so it's cool to have people like that, like what I do enough to bring me
Yeah,
out
of
with them.
course,
And
yeah.
Zach, I'm such a huge fan. Like, that's another thing
You're gonna love that show.
I'm so excited.
Yeah,
like,
we
I've
had him
been
in the
dying to
parking
see
lot
it.
last year, and
Oh my
I
gosh.
was like, "Holy shit!" Like,
So good.
this dude is like Alan Jackson reincarnated.
Yeah,
like,
might be
I
literally.
mean,
So-
it's-
word on the street.
right. Yeah, the social media has definitely got the
Yeah.
rumors out there.
Yep.
And you know,
I love how he plays the guitar too.
I haven't seen
there's
any-
not
He can
many
play-
acts
oh
that
my
do
gosh,
that.
play his
like-
tail off.
And there's not a lot of people there's not a lot of artists that can do it like that.
Brad
I
Paisley.
definitely can.
I mean, like,
Keith
I'm trying to
Urban.
think him and
Yeah.
Keith. I mean,
Yeah.
But it's like his, flat picking, just the way he
Yeah.
plays.
yeah,
It's,
he's
Yeah.
good,
he's-
man.
There's not many people that do
And
it
he-
that
and
well.
the
And then
songs-
sing as well.
His
and
songwriting
have
is really
amazing
good.
songs. So.
Yeah, I mean, he writes songs that like how am I able to sing along with the song the first time I heard it?
I know, right?
Like by the end of the song, you're already singing it. You know,
Yeah,
you're like,
yeah.
like that's crazy. Like
Yeah.
it's so well written.
Yeah.
That'll
So
be
that's
that'll
such
be
a good
awesome
point. Yeah.
to get to go out and
excited.
work with those guys.
Yeah, and the first city I get to go to with Zach is Oxford, Mississippi, which is
that's
where I went to school. So
Oh.
I'm like, I'm
Dude, you're
literally
totally gonna show
counting
him
down
up.
the days. I don't know about that.
Everybody's gonna be there for you.
I hope, but I don't know about that.
Where-
but
where
I'm
is that show?
excited. It's at the Lyric, which
nice.
like that's a bucket list venue
Heck
for
yeah.
me. Hopefully, I'll get to headline it next time around.
That'd be cool.
But I've been to so many concerts at the Lyric. I have been to formals at the Lyric.
Oh, I bet.
I've been
yeah.
drunk at the
Well, I was
Lyric
about to say
many
everything in
times.
Ole Miss is at the Lyric, right?
I mean, there's not many places.
Yeah, that's what I was
Like,
about to say. Pretty much everything.
it's sort of the
is there.
main like event space,
Space,
there.
yeah.
So I'm excited.
One of my favorite shows we ever played was at the Grove in
Oh yeah,
at Ole Miss. I think it was us and Thomas Rhett, and
that's
it
awesome.
was. I just never have played a show that cool. I mean,
Shows
the
in the
whole place was
Grove.
just packed with
Yeah,
people and
that's
all the
awesome.
cool old trees and stuff.
Yeah,
it was
it's
an
so
experience
beautiful.
For sure.
It's so
But
beautiful.
I love Oxford.
Was it the
I do
Ole
too.
Miss show that Morgan had to cancel?
I think it was.
Oh, were you on that one?
No, I
Oh,
wasn't.
I was about to say that would have been a major bummer.
I
huh?
was not. I was there, but I wasn't on it. Yeah, that
Yeah.
would have been tough. But the openers got to play, so if
Oh,
I
that's
were on
right.
it,
They
I would
did
have.
that.
I would have gotten to do my
That's
job.
right. You would have gotten to play. That's cool.
Yeah.
I was just sitting there thinking, I was like, damn, was she on the show that
That
got
would be
canceled in
a big
Oxford?
bummer because that
Yeah.
would have been Oxford.
Well, I had a bunch of friends that drove down and had like Airbnbs for the weekend, and like
Dang.
were texting me like they were so mad, and I was like, I mean, like, bro,
Ugh,
we live in Nashville.
I
We know
it
Morgan.
sucks, but it happens. Like I've seen so many artists lately have to cancel shows too, and I just like feel bad. Like
Yeah, it's
people
tough.
getting sick, and it's just like, oh, you've got to just feel. I mean,
Yeah.
it's tough. Like it's not like a regular job where you can just call in sick to work and nobody is ever going to know about it. It's like the
Yeah.
whole world sees.
Yeah, it's tough.
it's
Especially
really
at that
tough.
level when you have such a massive
I know.
crew and band
Oh
and
my
everybody.
gosh.
It's the last thing you want to do is cancel
Oh my
a show at
gosh,
that
yeah.
point.
It is. It's a scary thing.
Now, did you go to school with a focus on music, or did you decide once you
I-
got back you're going to be a writer artist? Or
Sort of yes and no. I grew up doing music. So, like growing up here, me and my sister played together all the time. That was kind of like what we did for fun. And we would just play gigs like wherever people would let us in and listen, like we would play. And it was really just fun. Like I've always loved music. I've always loved singing. And I sort of went to college though thinking like, I don't know why, but I just thought like, well, that was just a hobby. Like I don't
Need
think
a
I have.
career.
Yeah, like I didn't really know. I was so young at the time. I kind of just thought you had to pick one or the other. And so I was like, I was literally that kid that grew up knowing I was going to Ole Miss from birth. Like it was never a question. I was definitely
Where
going
did
to go
that
there.
come from?
My parents
Okay,
went there.
your
My
parents.
parents,
That's fine. Yeah,
my grandparents. It's
yeah.
like runs deep in my family.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And I
Yes.
just always loved going down there. So I definitely wanted to go to school there. And so I just was like, well, I guess I'll just do this and I'll move to a small town or I'll move to the beach. Like I'm never coming back to Nashville. I was sort of just done with it. Like I had seen what I needed to see and I was done. And when I went to school, my sister wasn't with me. So I kind of like put music on pause. Like I wasn't playing gigs. I always had my guitar with me. So I was always like playing in my room or writing and, playing for my roommates or whatever. But I wasn't like playing gigs. And that very quickly started to get to me. Like I just started missing it so much. And I think it was my junior year. My sister was playing a lot of shows at the time and she came to play a show in Oxford and I got up and sang with her. And I literally will never forget. I was like, I forgot how good this felt. Like it was like a part of me that was still there, but I just hadn't like gone there in so long. And it was like, I just immediately felt fulfilled. And from that day on, I was like, I can't not do this. Like I can't not do music for my, for a living.
For sure.
And so that was when I started like really writing and like trying to just get back at it and play gigs again. 'Cause I wanted to finish school, not really because I cared about school, but I really just like loved Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And I had such good friends there and I wanted to stay. So I finished that out. And as soon as I was done, I came right back to Nashville and just kind of like hit the ground running. So my last 2 years of school, I just was like doing whatever I could while I was there to give myself the best shot at like when I came home.
were your friends at Ole Miss like encouraging you?
Oh
to
yeah,
play
they were.
music
They were
and-
like they and my family were both sort of like, yeah, we always knew you were going to do this. We were kind of just waiting on you to say it. Like, so no one was shocked by any means. They were just like happy for me. And so, yeah, they were very encouraging. Like I got to know this little cover band that would play in one of the bars we would go to. And so like, I would get drunk and be like, I'm getting on stage and like I'd sing with them and they'd invite me and so it was just like fun and I just have such good memories from my last like couple years doing that at school.
awesome.
It was fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome.
How did your deal at Big Loud come about? And is it a co-venture with
Yeah, so
Nicole's company?
with
Okay.
Nicole's company, Songs and Daughters in Big Loud. And that came about from those last couple years of college. I was like, basically this was before like TikTok and all that like was a thing. I would just post like videos of me singing on Instagram and it wasn't like, I didn't know that nothing ever went viral like at all. It was not like, that just wasn't really even a thing back then, but I was just doing it for my own enjoyment and like for my friends and whatever. And Nicole, so do you know Nicole's husband, Rodney Clausen?
Yep.
He's a big songwriter. He somehow came across one of my videos and showed it to Nicole and was like, hey, you should like look at this girl. And so she reached out to me and we like just met one day in town. I was still in school, so I came home and like we had breakfast. And she was like, do you want to be an artist? Like, is that what you're trying to do? And I had just sort of made that discovery. Like I had just played that show with my sister. I had just had this big epiphany and I was like, yes, like that is exactly what I want to do. And she was like, okay, well, I just, you know, like I just want to meet and like hear some of your songs. And basically she really just like took me under her wing and set me up with a bunch of songwriters and got me like writing in town. Cause before I had only ever written with my sister and myself, and that was it. And so she like really started to introduce me to people and just kind of let me like write my ass off for like a year. Like she was really wanting me to like kind of figure it out and develop. And so from there, Big Loud signed me to a publishing deal. And then I think like maybe a year or so later, a record deal too. And so that's how I got connected with them. And they've been awesome. They're just like such cool people.
Yeah, I think writing is, you know, and you guys are the musicians, but my wife's a writer. It's I've even noticed in her writing that she writes. She has a publishing deal now, so she gets to write full time and
awesome.
write a lot. And the more she writes, the better they get.
Yeah.
So it's just it's
sure.
like you know, like anything. Like I'm an athlete. Like you practice and you get better.
Yeah.
So you know, writing as many songs as you can. And
Yeah.
then obviously getting in the rooms with the right people and
For sure.
and stuff helps. But you know, I think that's, you know, you got to practice, man.
Yeah. I mean, like I am so glad and grateful that I didn't put out the first songs I ever wrote. Like, I am just so glad that like nobody was paying attention at that time. And I was able to just like you're saying, like get better and practice and write really terrible songs that no one ever had to hear.
Right.
To where then now I'm at a place where I feel like, okay, I like what I'm doing and I feel good enough about it to put it out. And, you know, obviously like over the years, I'll just hopefully keep getting better and keep writing better songs and writing different material. But I'm just so glad that like no one ever heard that early stuff, you know?
How's your experience with Big Loud been as far as have they allowed you to just be yourself and do what it is that you want to do, or have they pushed you in any direction?
No,
or?
Big Loud is awesome. Like I feel like their superpower is they will take like exactly who an artist is and just be like, okay, we just want to help you do this in a bigger way and like push you in whatever direction you're wanting to go. And it helps, like they just have such creative people over there. So like my ideas, it's like co-writing. Like I'll give them ideas and they're like, okay, we could do this with that. Like, and so it's been so awesome. And I've gotten to work with Joey on a ton of stuff and he's just so talented and like helped me develop such a cool sound. And now getting to go and work with Will, it's like just such a cool progression. And Seth, obviously, like just being such a cheerleader is so cool.
Star.
And he's awesome.
Yeah, they got a pretty good team over there.
They've got a pretty good team. They do. Yeah.
Well, I think I've been here for 21 years, I guess, and just been on a lot of different labels, but watching them, I've always been so impressed with how consistent they've stayed and the way they develop talent. But what I've always been so jealous of is that they let the artist be the artist. And
it's true.
I've never had that experience elsewhere.
Yeah, well, and I do know like that is rare. It's not like it's rare to find that, but I do think that they are good at that. And they're also like very progressive in the sense that like as the industry is changing all the time and I am stubborn. Like I am like, no, it needs to be this way. But they are good about like understanding what's going on and being like, okay, this is how things are working now. Like, here's what we need to do. Like, let's shift. Cause I think it's really easy to like get stuck in your ways. Oh, yeah. That's me. Like I am that way. Like I'm guilty. So like I need somebody to push me along and be like, okay, here's what, like, it's okay to let things change and evolve.
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this other day. I think country music's in a pretty good place right now. I mean, you've gotten some of the you know, like some real country acts out there are doing really good that sound country. You know, you sound country.
Thanks.
Zach Top obviously sounds country.
Yeah.
Laney sounds country.
Yeah.
Like some of the biggest acts in the genre. And if you go back, you know, and Morgan sounds country, even though he does cross over a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, that dude is just country. He's very country.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I'm so like pro classic country and keeping country, but at the same time, like I do think about it's always evolved, like from the very beginning of it, it's always evolved to different places. And like when Glenn Campbell was singing Rhinestone Cowboy, like my granddad was like, this ain't country, like this is pop.
Yeah.
And because it was like back then that was progressive. And so, you know, I feel like I've grown a lot where like I can appreciate newer, more modern stuff now.
I think that's one of the cool things about the country format as a whole is it has so many different subgenres within it. And it's,
for sure.
Like Nashville's kind of a melting pot. The country format really is, and it's accepting of all different styles and you know, different formats within the format.
Yeah,
and I think that's what makes it so cool, and also appeals to such a diverse audience because people can, you know, find different stuff within the genre that they relate to and they love. And
I totally agree.
I think like you said, country's in a really good place, and
it is.
I think also, I mean, I remember kind of the middle part of my career is it was all solo males pretty much on the radio, and now it's really refreshing to hear so many females that are really, really good, and I think you're at the top of that list for sure.
Thank you. I'm with you. I think there's a lot of cool girls out there right now too, and it's like another thing I think about is like it's so easy to think there's only one slot, like there's only one girl. But it's so not true. Like when you think about over the years, all the females I loved, like they were all existing at the same time, you know, like Miranda Lambert and Carrie Underwood, Faith Hill, like Leanne Womack. Like,
I mean, if you go all the way back, Loretta Lynn, Tammy Wynette.
Yeah,
I mean,
they're all so different.
Patsy Cline, like all of them were huge at the same time.
Yeah,
I mean,
and they're all different from each other. Like,
different,
and no one was thinking like her versus her. It's just like, I think that's a good thing to remember, you know.
I think for sure, like if you
modern
go
day.
back to like the old days in country music, it was one big family for sure. I think now you have everybody's got their own crew kind of, or a lot of people have their crew
Or
that
it feels like that
work with and
sometimes.
run with and stuff. Or so back then it felt like it was like, you know, the Opry was a lot different. You know, like it was cool though.
To piggyback off that, like I feel like at least on social media, there's kind of this effort to like, I don't know, at least in the female community, like that you're all pretty close and supportive of one another.
Yeah.
Like, do you feel that that's an accurate representation kind of?
I think so.
Is it really cliquey or?
No, I mean, that's a good question. I think that people do a good job nowadays of like making sure there's opportunities for us to be around each other. Like CMT Next Women, I got to do that. And it was like, it was nice because there is a lot of times where you feel so separated. Like we're always on the road. We never really get to like actually interact with each other. And so like getting to do things like that, or like, you know, just things in town, it's nice to have opportunities to actually be around each other because it's like you said, social media makes it so easy to just pit it against each other. But when you're actually around all the girls in country, it's like, oh my gosh, everybody is just sweet and like trying to do the same thing. We all need to like we're in this together, you know, like.
Absolutely.
And I've always felt, at least as far as my career went, that a lot of the guys in, you know, the business, because especially at the beginning of our career, you know, we did a 170 station radio tour to like, you know, set up every single. So, you know, we'd spend, you know, half the year out on the road playing these free radio shows with other artists. So you get really close with one another and become great friends. And as we got later into our career, that kind of disappeared. And you kind of felt isolated.
You just
like
get
you were on
busy.
an island.
Yeah. But you're right. Like when you zoom out, it's like, okay, we're all doing the same thing. And
that's
you
pretty
need to
cool.
just remember that. Yeah. And I also I love the songwriting community too. Like I think that
it's very tight knit.
And like very supportive of each other. Like, I mean, like my sister is a songwriter. My best friends are songwriters. My husband is a songwriter. And like, everyone's just cheering each other on. And like, sure, there's healthy competition for sure. Right. But it's just like, I'm so I feel like everybody's really happy for each other when somebody wins. Like you want to see good people win.
And that's what makes the songs that come out of this town so damn good.
Yeah.
Is that the competition here is crazy. Like
Yeah.
you got the best songwriters in the world are all in one city.
Yeah, I mean competition, it's natural. Yeah.
Yeah.
It exists for sure.
Do you find that there's little pockets of groups in the songwriting community that kind of stick together, or are people more
in a way? I mean, in a way, like, you know, as when I'm like trying to write for my own artist thing, like I definitely have my go-to group of people that like I typically write with. But I think that's just like if you creatively mesh or not. I've never thought of it as like cliquey, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I think that it's more just like who you work well with. But as far as a whole, I feel like everybody's pretty like intertwined with each other in a fun way. Like everyone's kind of friends and buddies.
That's
most
awesome.
of the time.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. That's what it looks like from the outside looking in. Anyway, I see songwriters are hanging out with other songwriters all the time.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, it's how a lot of songwriting is relationships too. Like,
For sure.
So that's a big part.
Yeah.
Who are some of your
My go-tos
writers in town?
Well, my sister and my husband always have like my sister and I, her name's Caroline Watkins. She and I have written together forever and she's awesome. Like
She older?
she is 2 years older than me. Yes. And then my husband, Will Bundy, the three of us write together a ton. Lauren Hungate is another one who she
incredible.
is crushing it right now. And I'm just like, I'm so happy because I've known she was good for a long time.
Yeah.
Like I'm just ready for her to have this moment. And
That's awesome.
Nicole Gallion, Rodney Clausen, those are huge ones for me. And the Warren brothers, do y'all know the Warrens?
Brett.
Yeah.
Brett and Brad are
crazy.
a big part of Stephen and I's career. And
Are they really?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay.
Also a big part of why I got sober 10 years ago. Both of
they
them
are
were very
awesome.
helpful in that.
I can imagine. They are like such good guys. And it's funny because like they've got wild and crazy stories, but now they're like the most like, they're just good Christian dads. But I'm like, you're crazy. Like, I know you are.
Yeah.
They're
like
the best.
big brothers to Stephen
Yeah,
and I. They're
that's awesome.
incredible guys.
I always say they're like my music business dads. Like,
For us too, they were like the huge mentors for Stephen and I.
Okay, I can't wait to tell them that we met. They'll be excited.
Seriously, two of my favorite people. Actually, their mom
awesome.
was my bandmate Steven's math teacher in Florida.
No way.
And they're the two that encouraged him to move here to pursue music. And
that's
then
awesome.
we were signed to a label out of New York on more like the pop rock side of things when we first got here, and they came and saw us play, and they were like, I don't know who told you guys you're pop rock, but this is country. Like, So then because of them, we totally shifted.
That's so cool.
Probably wouldn't be, where we are now if it wasn't for them. So
that's awesome. I can't wait.
I mean, again, we've written hundreds of songs with them, and at least every record we put out has at least 2 or 3 with them.
Oh, I love that. That's awesome.
They're two of my favorite people. So it's cool
that
that
is
you
awesome.
said that.
Yeah, they're cool. Yeah, those are kind of my go-tos. I mean, I'm sure I could think of a million more. I'm gonna regret not saying.
They're also the reason we got on Tim McGraw tour for the first time, and then
really
they had somebody back out for the second time we went on tour with them. So
hell yeah.
Thanks to Brett and Brad.
Thanks to Brett and Brad. They would love to know how much they're being talked about right now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They are somewhere just levitating right now.
I was at Gibson one day, like trying to get a new acoustic. The one I had had a crack in it or something, and I walked in and Brett was in there, about to go out with Brad and do some acoustic shows and stuff. So got to catch up with him there a little bit. I always run into him in the weirdest places.
Yeah,
we used to have breakfast over off of 8th with them,
that's awesome.
a couple times a month.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
They're my favorite. I love them.
Yeah, they are great. Well, Brett actually married Will and I.
Really?
Yeah, he did.
That's
cool.
Wow.
He did. They like to kind of take credit for us getting together, even though like I'm not really sure if that's true. They were definitely there when we like first kind of started dating. Like they were around for sure. But yeah, Brett married us.
That's really cool.
Yeah, yeah. We always joke, we're like, because we love both of them equally. Yeah. We didn't want to have to choose, but we were like, Brett or Brad, we were like, your brother Brett has more religious hair, so we had to pick him because Brad's got like long, scraggly hair.
Right.
He looks more like a pastor, so.
That's funny.
That's
we did the
true.
same thing. We had a close friend
Yeah,
perform our ceremony.
that's awesome.
It was very cool.
I love it. Yeah.
And one of my favorite podcasts is Brad's
Yeah.
Good God, Good Grief.
Yeah.
I mean, that's after what he went through with Gage during COVID. I mean, that's probably one of the saddest funerals I've ever been to.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think from that has come some incredible
I know,
healing
it's
and
so
stuff.
cool.
And
Yeah.
it's just one of the most inspiring podcasts just
Yeah.
to listen
They
to
are
people that have gone
inspiring
through.
people. They really are.
Yeah.
They really are.
Sorry, I didn't mean to go on a Brett and Brad
No, it's
tangent
good. I
there,
love it. I
but-
could talk about them all day.
You have, I know you had the collab with Graham Barnum.
Yeah.
And I love that song. It's
Thank
awesome.
you so much. Thank you.
And I'm kind of a fan of his. Like
He's a funny guy.
got the Oil Money song out now.
I know.
And I can't watch the video and not laugh. I'm sorry. Like
Oh,
no
me
offense
too.
at
No,
all,
he
but it's
knows.
hilarious.
He knows.
But I mean, like he just went all in.
He went
I
all
was like,
in.
bro, if you're gonna do it, like
Do
you
it.
gotta do
it all the way. Yeah.
But yeah, it was. Do you have any more collabs coming this way, or?
Yes, I definitely do. I'm still kind of figuring it out. I've written a lot of songs that I have some dream collaborators for. And so I'm just kind of trying to figure out like,
We were talking about Zach Top. That would be pretty cool.
that would be pretty cool.
That'd be
Zach,
pretty
are
cool.
you
Like,
listening?
yeah, you're listening, bro.
Hey, Zach.
We got a good opportunity
I have a couple
for
songs to send you.
you. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do a song with him.
That'd be
He is
super
definitely
cool.
a dream collaboration.
And I think
for
the
sure.
sound would that you guys would
Yeah.
work together really good
You know,
too.
I think so too. I think so too.
Who are some of the other dream collaborators?
You know, it's hard to say because I'm like, oh, I don't want to jinx it.
Right.
But
Yeah.
also, this isn't just like this album. Like, this is like future, just
Just
in,
in
life.
life,
I would
yeah.
love to do a song with like Chris Stapleton.
Oh my gosh.
I also love Nora Jones. That would be sort of like an outside
That'd be pretty
country.
cool.
She's great.
But
Yeah.
if CMT Crossroads was, is that still a thing?
I
Do they still
don't
do
know.
that? If that
Should
was
be,
still
but
a
it's
thing,
not. I always liked those.
I always loved watching those. And
Yeah.
if that were still a thing, like that would be mine.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah. If it is still a thing, I'm so sorry. I watch it all the time.
Yeah, I remember. I think the first one I went to was Taylor Swift and
You went to one?
Def Leppard.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
I don't even didn't.
Well,
know
we
that
had
was
just
a
we
thing.
had just come off a tour with Taylor Swift, and
Wow.
so and she wrote a song about Steven, and so they were kind
Hey,
of
Steven?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does the public know that?
Well, a lot of people thought it was about that Stephen Coletti guy from Laguna Beach, and
don't know who
like
that
we went
is.
to Walmart with her to buy the record when people used to do that, and
Yeah, I miss
we were
those
walking
days.
out, and she was like, "Hey, check the liner notes," like 'cause you know how she puts messages and all of the liner notes. It was all
Okay.
in lowercase, and she was like, "Look at all the capital letters, and it spells out love and theft." In that, so
No
and then
way.
Steven was thrilled because it's like the only nice song she's really ever written about.
Yeah, it's a really
guy,
nice song.
so-
That's
and they never like
I didn't even know that.
dated, but they had like a little. I mean, she was 19 at the
that's
time, so
crazy.
it was like they think they maybe held hands. But
I hope they use protection.
yeah, exactly. But so that was
Wow.
pretty cool. But,
That's cool.
I don't even know how I got into that story, but
You
Well,
got-
oh yeah, the Crossroads.
Maybe
and I
this-
remember that was one of the coolest things I'd ever seen.
That is
Just-
cool. Wait, so you actually went to? I didn't even know you could like go to them in
Yeah,
person.
well, she invited us.
I just
like
watched
we
them
were
on
on her
TV.
little guest list. I think it was at the factory in Franklin, and
Oh my gosh.
That's a cool spot.
yeah, it was awesome. She
That's
killed it,
cool.
and then I just became obsessed with like the CMT Crossroads thing.
Yeah.
And we went and
I
saw
love that.
John Mayer, Keith Urban one, and that was when.
ridiculous.
Oh my
Well, it was
Gosh,
weird
wow.
because her and Steven weren't really talking anymore, and she was
Oh.
in an hour relationship with John Mayer, and we like pulled up
Ooh.
next to his bus, and they walked off holding hands, and
Oh,
it's a little uncomfortable
That's
for Steven at the
sad.
time, but
poor
yeah,
Steven.
CMT Crossroads was
Yeah,
it
my
was a
favorite
cool
one
thing.
was Katy Perry and Casey Musgraves.
Yes, that was
I
an
like
awesome one.
recently saw some videos like resurfaced from it of them singing like I don't remember what it was. Teenage Dream, I think. Is that the one that's like you think I'm pretty? Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe I've never heard this." I'm like, "Yeah, not to brag, but I saw it years ago."
I mean, that was a banger as a DJ. I played that shit all the time.
So good.
Yeah, I think if I'm not wrong, I think she went to Belmont for a little bit.
Who
Katy
did?
Perry.
Oh,
Yeah.
really? I didn't know
I'm
that.
pretty sure. I think she
Yeah.
did a couple years at Belmont.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think she was a
Everybody
Christian
was.
artist.
Yeah, it was a Christian
She was
artist.
I did know
artist
that.
at
Another
I
one
did
that's
know
had
that.
a bunch of different deals. And
Yeah. I did know she was a Christian artist.
It's crazy, man. So many people have come through here. And in Belmont, for
Yeah.
instance, I mean, that's, you know, that's where I went for grad school. And I thought
Really?
I wanted to be a manager. And I got my music business degree and realized that, like, unless you have a really good artist, and I had a band, and 5 of the guys, 4 of them were great, and one of them was a nightmare. And so, like, I was just chasing this dude around all the
Yeah.
time, you know? And then
Yeah.
I'm like, I went to school for 7 years for this. I'm like, I can make a lot more money doing something else.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just,
Well,
it
you got to
wasn't,
be just so
yeah.
like in it for the long haul.
yeah,
That's
and
the
it
hard
wasn't,
part.
it just wasn't for me. I was like, I'm a good friends with Brian Wright, and he, he's
Yeah.
managing George now, and I think he started with Stapleton, and
Yeah.
he's managed some of the biggest acts in country music. And I was like, hey man, if you ever want to skip somebody to the top of the heap, I'm your guy. I was like, but I don't ever want to start at the bottom
He's
and
like,
work my way
don't
up.
do this job.
No, never.
Yeah, I'm
I
not
couldn't
cut
do
out
it.
for it.
Yeah.
I can only do. I'm a one-trick pony. I can only
Yeah.
do what I'm
Yeah.
doing.
I have enough trouble managing myself.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No doubt.
exactly.
To handle
Me too.
somebody else.
Me too.
That is the thing when managing a band. You got, like 3 singers. So everybody, I think every time somebody can sing, they have a personality or an ego.
Yeah.
So that was like 3 big egos and 2 that really, they're the bass player and the drummer. They don't care.
Yeah.
They're there, like team players. But the other 3 are like arguing with each other all the time. And I was just like, dude, this is not,
Not
I
your
didn't get
thing.
into this
I didn't
business
spend
to
hundreds of
wrangle
thousands of
cats.
dollars on
Nope,
an
not your
education for
gig.
this.
Not your gig. Yeah.
But then, if you get somebody, you get somebody huge and,
Yeah. Hit the jackpot.
it's all
Work really hard.
all downhill from there. You know?
Who manages you?
That girl right there. Melanie Mulrain.
Awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
She rocks. I'm like, do you like it?
It's like there was nice things must be said in this situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's awesome.
That's cool. How long have y'all worked together?
It's been like 3 years? 3 years? Yeah. We knew each other for a long time before that though. And she started working at Songs and Daughters like right around the same time as I got signed over there.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny because when Nicole, like when that was all happening, we were like, should we tell her that we're friends?
Right.
Like, and we did. We ended up telling her. And if you know Nicole, this makes sense. But she was like, this is perfect.
Yeah.
Like, I love this. And so at the time, the team over there was super small.
Mm-hmm.
And so Melanie was just kind of doing everything and like kind of soft managing me. Like it just
Right.
kind of worked out. She was doing like day-to-day things. And I got to a place where I really needed management. And so we were like, let's just give this a try. And it really, like, we really, really work well together.
That's awesome.
And yeah, it's just been great ever since.
Yeah.
So
I don't think a lot of people realize how important the artist manager relationship
it's very,
is.
I think it's like the most important
Yeah.
thing other than like, having a thing as an
Yeah.
artist, like
Well, and it's-
making good music, but it is very important. Like, and you just have to have trust. Like I trust her. Melanie, how do you feel about all this gassing you up? But like, I really do. I trust her to be in the room without me and advocate for me and make decisions sometimes when I can't be there.
Yeah, that's what I say. It's really hard, it's a big deal to trust someone to represent you,
Yeah.
even though you may not agree with their decisions sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, so like you're not human beings. Like, I don't agree with anybody all the time.
For sure,
But I
yeah.
still have
You
people
gotta be okay with
that I
that.
trust. Like, hey, if we don't agree, I still trust that, for one, they made the decision in what they thought was my best interest.
Yeah.
And as long as they're making decisions based on that, I'm a big intent person.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if someone makes a mistake, but their intent wasn't,
Yeah.
there's no intent there, then there's no maliciousness there.
For sure.
Why am I angry?
For sure.
Like,
yeah.
let's talk about how to fix the mistake instead
Yeah.
of being mad about it. That's
Yeah,
silly.
true.
Because I know this person loves me, cares about me, and has my best interests at heart.
Yeah.
And that's
what
I
matters.
think
That's
you just
a
have to be
dream
working
relationship.
towards the same goals.
Yes,
like,
that's
I've-
huge. That's huge. Like
Yeah.
that's been the biggest thing is like having the same values, like just caring about the same things, like working towards the same thing. And like valuing family and relationships over career also is
Yeah.
huge.
That's
like
huge,
I mean, I just, they all got to work together, but like having the same values is really, really huge.
So do you get to, like, when you're on the road, does your husband come with you?
He comes a good bit. He comes to more of the dates when we fly.
Yeah.
Than he does
the
when we're
riding
in the
bus.
van.
Yeah, the van.
And he's like so down because we're in a van right now. We're not on a bus.
Yeah.
And he's like so down to ride the van. He actually loves driving it. But it's really like, it's just an extra person in there that like crowds it. And he's like, I want y'all to go do your thing. I'll come to the ones when you fly.
Yeah.
But yeah, he comes a bit. Like he'll be out next weekend when we're in Oxford and Starkville.
You like having him there?
Oh, I love it. It's
Yeah.
so much more fun when he's there. Like, it's also he really puts me at ease. Like when we're in stressful.
Relief.
Yeah, it's like usually the day is like stressful situations, and so like when he's there, I'm a lot more like, right, we're good. He's very, very like cool, calm, and collected. I couldn't be more opposite. Like,
I think that's how a kind of similar relationship me and my wife have. She
Yeah,
asks
that's
me
why
like
it works.
questions about everything and like stuff I don't even know about, and I'm like, "Why are you asking me about this?" And she's like, "Just because it makes me feel better." And
yeah,
I'm like,
I just need to
like,
know.
yeah,
Like
that's-
I don't ever need to not know what to expect.
right.
You have a tour manager on the road with you?
I do. Yeah, I do. He's in my band and
Nice.
he's awesome. He's actually super new and he's been crushing it.
That's great.
And that's like so helpful.
help.
Such a huge piece.
It's so huge and like it's just so nice. It's like just sort of a like one less thing for me to worry
Well,
about.
those people
Like I
do
know
a
he's
lot of
got
work,
it.
man.
Yeah.
The tour manager is also wrangling
It's
cats.
a full-time
Yeah.
job. It's more than that. It's
Yeah,
a
for
lot.
sure.
Yeah, well, and the more success you have, the bigger your crew gets.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
more work
exactly.
it is.
Exactly.
We
Yeah.
actually stole Taylor Swift's tour manager back
Did you?
in the day. Well, didn't technically steal him. He got fired, and then we started working with him after
that's
that.
the circle of life.
But just having to deal with her band and her crew back then, when he came on with us, it was the most refreshing thing ever.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, this is what having a real tour manager is like?
That is so true. It's so true. You're like, oh my gosh, what was I?
Yeah, just the logistics and just showing up places, knowing that everything's taken care of, and that you're not going to get to a hotel and they have no record of your reservation or.
Wow, it feels like you've lived my life.
Yeah, I mean, it was so refreshing, and like ever since we stopped working with him, it's like I've been trying to find somebody as good and have never been able
They're
to.
hard to find. They are very hard to find. But when you get a good one, it's like, oh, I will do
Hold
whatever I
on for
can to
dear
keep
life.
you
I
around.
was like, whatever you want to be paid,
whatever
will
you
pay
want, whatever you want. Yeah, just
I
stay.
booked bands for Vegas for a while, and I had to book the hotel rooms too. And there was definitely a couple times where like I botched a reservation, and I have an artist on the phone like, bro, they don't have my room, and I'm like, what?
And it might not seem like a big deal to a
It's
lot
like
of
the
people, but
worst
if you've
feeling.
been traveling all day, you
And
come
it's
from another
3
show, and you just want to
a.m.,
lay down,
and you
go
might
to
get
sleep.
2 hours of
Oh
sleep.
yeah, I felt
like,
terrible. I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
I mean, I took care of it, but it was, like he did sit there for like an hour.
And
a
it
half,
happens. Like it happens. Well, speaking of Taylor Swift, one day we were supposed to check into our hotel. We had driven from the show before, so we drove like, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours that night. And we finally get to our hotel. It's like 2 a.m. And they didn't have any record of our reservation for whatever reason. And we're arguing with them, trying to figure out like, and they're like, we're trying to figure out like, can you get us another room? What's going on? They're completely booked. And then turns out Taylor Swift was in town playing a show. So every hotel within 100 miles,
gosh.
100 miles was fully booked.
Oh my god.
That sucks.
So we ended up our whole band had to share a room, and and Melanie was out there too. So we had,
Goodness.
it was terrible.
Bring your sleeping bags.
Yeah, there was none of that though. It was
At that point,
a
just
cold hard ground.
go out to the van and.
Oh
sleep
yeah,
in the
well I
van.
was like laying on the couch in the lobby of the hotel. I was like, I'm sleeping here. I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, we're just gonna all have to share a
Life
room.
on the road.
Life on the road. Yep.
One of my big things has always been tour catering, because we've been on a lot of tours with awful catering and
Oh
some
my
that
gosh.
is incredible. So I'm curious what the best catering you've
Well, if you're
experienced.
on
Morgan
Morgan's
Wallen.
tour, I was about to say you
Morgan
probably got some
Wallen,
good
hands
food.
down the best catering. It was so like it was really good food, but also the thing about it was like just having consistency
Yeah.
that makes you feel normal. You
Yeah,
know,
for
like
sure.
every night the one thing we can expect to be the same is the food. Like they're
Well,
always
so
gonna
what
have.
was on the menu?
It was always different. Like the dinner was like always something different, but it was usually like something healthy.
Yeah.
There was always different meat options. Like there'd be like a salmon or a fish or like
Yeah.
chicken, steak, whatever. But the best thing was they had this giant cheese spread. like a giant charcuterie.
Yeah, I'm a big charcuterie.
Big fan.
I was about to,
I'm a big
charcuterie.
charcuterie
I was about to
guy.
butcher it.
I like how
So
none of us are sure.
The funny part is that there's a running joke where I say charcuterie, and that was what was going to come out, and I was like,
It's
maybe
okay.
coucherie is not the fucking term I need to say right now.
I would have
Like,
understood. I wasn't far from that. I mean, I don't know what I said.
I can say charcuterie.
I have started just saying cheese board.
Yeah, that's a lot
It was
safer.
a cheese board, cheese and meat, and it was the best. And then they also always had really good dessert, but they would have like, me and Melanie every single night would get, there was like a bowl of like berries, like strawberries and blueberries, and then this homemade whipped cream. Well, at least we thought it was homemade. It was in a bowl as if it were homemade.
Tasted homemade at least.
It probably wasn't. Yeah. It tasted like it, and we would get that, and it was so good. They had a great coffee set up too. There was like a whole cart for just coffee and stuff like that.
That's awesome.
I really miss it. Like I think about it all the time.
Yeah, those boards where I come from have bologna and Velveeta cut into squares, so y'all can relax.
Those are good too.
Charcuterie.
Yeah.
That's charcuterie.
Well, I think is it peg leg porker that has like the redneck charcuterie board, and it's like
I like those
it's
too.
so
though.
good. They have a bunch of cool stuff. Like their pimento cheese is really good.
I love me.
I love
pimento cheese.
Me too.
Yeah, and a fried bologna sandwich. Like so, where I grew up down in Hurricane Mills, Tennessee. On the way down there, the exit before the Loretta Lynn's exit is Bucksnort.
I know exactly where you're talking about.
At Bucksnort, that little gas station
I've been.
has the best fried bologna sandwich you'll ever eat in your life. And every single time I go down 40 that way, I stop and get a fried bologna sandwich.
So I'm actually really familiar with this place because we hunt out there a little bit in Hurricane Mills.
Yeah, so there's
actually it's really Bucksnort.
Yeah.
We always go to that gas station, and the old lady that works in there,
Yeah.
one time we went in there and she was asleep at the
I don't doubt that one bit.
Like literally my dad walks in first and she literally was like this. And we were kind of like,
I have a habit in that gas station.
did?
and he was like, how you doing? And she didn't hear, and he was
Nothing.
like, how's it going? And she was like, oh, hey.
That's amazing.
But it was sort of like anybody could have ran in there and like
just got
robbed.
all the candy they wanted. Like
Yeah. But
I
yes, I
never-
have had many of fried bologna sandwiches
That's
from that.
awesome.
But what's
Yeah.
it,
I never
what's
even
it
heard
called?
of Bucksnort.
I can't even remember the name.
I hadn't either.
So the
I got
name
a
of the little-
T-shirt.
The
from
little
there.
market's changed a few times over the
Something
years,
like,
so I can't remember what the name of it is.
My dad would know.
But
what
like,
it
well,
is.
that's where we checked in all our deer. Because
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
family's farm, that was the closest place to check in deer. So I turkey hunted and deer hunted all that land back through there.
Yeah.
So my family had 200 or 500 acres right next to Loretta Lynn's ranch, and then there was like
Awesome.
another 250 acres right off of the Bucksnort exit that
Yeah.
was technically in Hickman County.
That's awesome.
But yeah, so
I love
turkey
that area.
hunted and deer hunted all over that.
I've hunted out there a lot.
Yeah,
It's
you grow up
beautiful.
hunting?
I did. Yeah. It's about to be turkey season.
Yeah, I know.
So
What's,
Like,
what's
a
your
week? I
favorite
think a week. Is it a
favorite thing
week?
to hunt?
turkey hunting.
Turkey?
Yeah. I grew up turkey and deer hunting. Went duck hunting a few times as a kid, but not like we didn't do that regularly. We would just go when we were invited. But
Mississippi has some incredible duck hunting.
it does, yeah. And a lot of like Arkansas, people would go like when we were in college, people would always go to Arkansas.
Well, the Tennessee River Bottoms in New Johnsonville, Camden, Benton County, where the river is right there. I grew up right there. And
Okay.
there's unbelievable duck hunting right there.
I don't know much about duck hunting, but I'm a turkey hunter.
Well, that's what I think we talked about it before. Duck hunting is like getting drunk with your buddies and trying not to shoot each other.
It's like
That's
the rich man
it's
hunting.
it's camaraderie. You're cooking breakfast and
it's a lot more social.
you got a little JMO in your coffee or whatever.
Yeah.
But I've definitely seen people get shot. Like
You
just get peppered up a
good
little
at turkey
bit, but
calling?
I'm learning.
Yeah.
I called my first turkey last year.
that's awesome.
So I'm learning.
Use a box call or
Yeah, a box
no?
call. Yeah.
Nice.
I started trying, I grew up turkey hunting with my dad and he's just great at turkey calling. So I never had a reason to learn.
Yeah.
But as I've gotten older, I just want to, I want to be able to do it for myself. And also if he ever can't go, I want to be able to do it. And so I started learning how to call when I was in college, I guess, and I started learning on a mouth call, and like I got pretty good at that, but then I just like stopped doing it and started using a box call. And since then I'm like, I cannot figure out a mouth call again. Like I've just gotten a couple new ones, so I'm trying to like relearn it, but it's
like
hard.
an instrument.
Yeah. Oh, it is.
Yeah.
It is
I mean,
exactly
it really
like that.
is, yeah.
And every one of them is different, and they don't like,
Yeah, they're
not
sound the
equal.
same.
And so, but I'm most comfortable on a box call, but I'm still learning. I have a lot to learn.
Yeah, I've been trying to teach my son the last couple months because he's excited. He's like,
Yeah.
Dad, when's the 12th going to be here? I can't wait to get out there.
Yeah.
And he's never gone before. I took him deer hunting for the first time, but so he's
Fun.
super stoked
That's
about
exciting.
it.
What
I
that's
realized
a really
I'm not great with the mouth call.
They're
and
hard.
I just always hunted with people that are incredible, callers.
Yeah.
And
Well,
like,
and
I've never
there's-
had the need to. So now
Yes,
that I'm trying
exactly.
to teach him, I'm like, gosh, I
Exactly.
should really get better at this.
they're actually really hard to teach too.
Yeah.
Like with a box call, you can kind of show, like you can show the motion,
yeah.
but it's also so subjective. But with a mouth call, like I don't know how you would teach that. The best way to learn, I think, is to like my dad, when he was a kid, he had a cassette tape
Oh, wow.
of
And he
Will
just-
Primos,
so
and
he
he
just
would
had
just
to mimic it.
listen all day long and just try to mimic the sound. And now you can just go on YouTube and listen to whoever you want.
Yeah.
But I'm reading right now Tom Kelly's The 10th Legion. Have you all ever heard of that book?
I've heard of it.
It's an
but I haven't
awesome
read it.
book on turkey hunting. You should get it and read it. But he is talking about how like calling it's made to sound like it's such an art and like you've got to be an expert. And really, like hens all sound completely different, and they
Yeah.
kind of sound like shit. Like
Yeah.
if you're actually in the woods listening, you're like, wait, that doesn't sound like me. Like that's
Right.
so it doesn't really matter. Like as long as you don't sound like a dying animal, like if you can get somewhat close to the sound, like you can
Yeah.
fool them. But they're going to be smarter than you no matter what. So it's
Yeah,
like,
and you're in their home court.
exactly. So the calling is like really just a small piece of it. But I do want to get good at it, so I'm trying to. learn.
There's these two guys that I had met in Mississippi. My best friend married into a family that owns a bunch of land on
Awesome.
the levee there. And
Yeah.
so we'd always go down there and hunt. And there's these two brothers, Douglas and Draper Malden. And they're like world champion
Okay.
turkey callers.
Oh, cool.
But they don't use a
They
call
just
or
use
anything.
their
It's
mouth.
just their mouth. And like I was
That's
down there with them when we were
impressive.
fishing. And there's an owl up in a tree. He was like, dude, I bet I can call that owl down into the boat. Starts hooting and doing his thing.
Starts hooting.
Within 45 seconds, this owl's sitting on the end of the John boat. Just
Wow.
literally, it looked like he was having a conversation with the guy. And
Oh my gosh, that's crazy.
But just-
Owls are
I mean, they're
really
just-
smart birds.
I know. I
they're
don't
just-
think I've ever seen one like
they're
up close.
freakishly talented, though. I mean, and
That's
they get down there,
cool.
they do the whole strut and thing when they're calling
awesome.
turkeys, and
That's awesome.
it's a whole different world. Like they used to like travel all around the
That's
country,
wild.
going to
Wow.
competitions and stuff.
I don't
Wow,
think I've ever
that's
seen
cool.
anybody doing it without a call.
Dude, they're
And that,
So
I mean,
talented.
They're
Pretty cool.
that good. That's
Yeah.
that's pretty crazy. Yeah.
Yeah.
they're aspiring artists too, but they're much better at the calling
Yeah,
side
yeah.
of it than,
That's all right.
than that. They're
That's
like best
cool.
friends with Morgan Freeman. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, I guess they live in Tallahatchie County.
Yeah,
down
that
there,
makes
so,
sense. That makes
Is
sense.
that where he's from?
Yeah,
Yeah, he's from down there. Yeah, he's always like at Ole Miss games and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah.
That's cool.
yeah, he's a cool guy. I
Maybe
got to
one of
meet him
my
a couple
favorite
times.
actors. That Shawshank Redemption is probably my favorite
Same.
movie.
I watch it every time it's on.
Do you?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of those. That and Step Brothers are my two go-to.
There you
that
go.
I'll
Okay.
I mean, it's
always
like
sit down and
just
watch.
got a, that movie's got a. I mean, it's obviously sad.
Yeah.
It's got a brilliant message. You know, have you ever seen it?
No.
You should watch it.
It's a
I
good
haven't
one.
seen a lot of movies, honestly. I'm not like a big movie person.
I think it pretty
Like
much,
I just don't. It feels like such a commitment to sit down and watch a movie.
Well, and that movie's like.
I don't
3
feel like I have
hours.
time
It's like
anymore.
2
I
hours
no,
and
I
40
want to.
minutes,
I want to.
yeah.
It'd probably be good for my mental health if I
Yeah.
just watch.
Maybe
unplug.
on the
Sometimes
road
it's a
on
good
an
just
iPad or
escape.
Just
something.
unwind. Yeah,
Yeah.
just turn the brain off.
I always find myself like 30 minutes into a movie, like I'm not going to touch my phone. I'm not going to touch my phone, and then slowly reach
And then
down
you
and
do.
start scrolling. And
The problem for me is having too many options for movies. Like I will be like, all right, we are watching a movie tonight. And then we scroll on Netflix, and then the activity becomes looking for a movie. And then an
that's
hour
a-
goes by, and
I
I'm
think
like,
that's a
"No, it's
husband-wife
not."
thing.
Yeah, me and my wife,
We can't
we're doing
agree.
that last
Yeah.
night,
We
and
can't.
finally we
We
both
just-
just fell asleep before
I don't
we
want to
even figured
watch
out
like
anything.
the type. we have different movie tastes, I feel like.
Yeah,
so.
my wife and I definitely have different tastes. I've got her watching Game of Thrones right now, which she grew up Mormon. So she's like, this is porno. And I'm like, no, I mean, that's definitely not.
This is porno.
Relax.
I've never seen Game of Thrones.
She's hilarious. She's got, it's like I would tell my best friend when I was talking to her about her for the first time. I was like, she has morals, dude. Like, it's crazy.
Crazy.
I was like, like bar business for 25 years. I was like, I don't meet women like
you
this.
didn't know they
like,
existed.
I was like, it's crazy.
Well, it's hard to find in this day.
They're hard to
It
find,
is,
yeah.
you
They're hard to
know,
find.
I think women are encouraged to not have morals. They get paid for not
I think you're
having
right.
them a lot, you know?
I think you're right.
but
Yeah. You're right. It's good when you find one.
Yeah, I hit the jackpot. There's
Yeah.
no doubt about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So when is your new stuff coming out? The 4th?
New song, Lose My Cool, on April 4th, and lots more to come that I'm working on. But
Releasing a full record this year also?
Yeah.
Yes?
Are we the first to hear that?
Maybe. I don't really have a timeline yet. I'm working on a ton of stuff, and that would be that's my goal.
Your goal.
That's my goal. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's kind of the model still these days, just consistently release music.
Yeah, I'm sort of
digitally.
like that's kind of the thought process I'm on right now. Like I have a lot of songs, a lot of bullets in the chamber that I'm just like ready to go, and I feel like that's kind of what people are doing, is just like keep it coming. Like if you've got the music, like just keep it coming. And so that is my plan this year. Lots of music to come.
Social media, I think it's, even we're learning with the podcast, like you have to put content out for people to absorb.
Yeah.
And that's how you stay relevant.
You got to stay. Yeah. It's
and
hard to do, but
it is. It's a lot of work.
Yeah. And it's another one of those things that's just like, it's evolved to be that way. And like, I'm sort of just having to like retrain my mind that like, you got to keep up.
I'm sort of a traditionalist in the sense that like I love the process of creating a whole record and then sequencing it and telling a story with the whole piece of art. And then sometimes when
I like to
part it out, it
that
feels
way too.
same here.
Yeah. But I think that I think there's ways to do both. You know what I mean? Like I think there's ways to do the single thing and then also like have a big body of work.
You can definitely do it.
Wink,
Morgan's
wink.
doing it right now with 37 freaking songs.
Exactly.
It's
But
amazing.
then there's also the flip side of that is like you put out a whole project and people gravitate towards one or two songs and it's like you feel like the whole piece of art kind of got lost.
Well,
and you just threw it out there.
It's true. It's true.
I guess you just have to be more strategic and purposeful with how.
Yeah,
how
there's
you
sometimes
release
it feels like
things.
there's no right or wrong way.
Yeah.
Like,
I think that's kind of the beauty of where the industry is
Yeah.
now. Is there's so many different outlets. There's so many. You have so many options.
Yes.
And there's
Totally.
now there's a bunch of different ways to skin a cat. So
exactly. That's the
there's
beauty of it.
no right or wrong.
For
reason.
sure.
Well, thank you so much for coming on today.
Thank y'all for having me.
Thanks for
This
being
was
our
so fun.
first girl.
And this was chill,
Yeah.
by the way. Like
Awesome,
it was.
awesome.
Well, I'm glad. That's what we're
That's
here
what we're shooting
for.
for.
I love it.
But
Thank
guys,
y'all.
be looking out for all Lauren's stuff coming soon.
Thank you.
And we're excited to see it.
Thanks, y'all.
Awesome.
I
We
appreciate
appreciate you.
it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for having
Thanks so
me.
much.